Old is the new M. Night Shyamalan movie that I watched in theaters with people. Um, yeah, this movie is not good. Here's the thing. I knew I had to see this movie because with M. Night Shyamalan movies, I don't really trust too many reviews because, be honestly, M. Night Shyamalan, because he's made so many bad movies, critics are overly harsh to him when they don't need to be. And I'm not saying he's a terrible film. I'm not saying he hasn't made terrible films or anything, and his terrible films need excuses. But I am saying that there are movies that I've seen of his that are like got trashed and like thrashed by these critics, and it's like you're sitting there like, guys, calm down. This movie's actually not okay, or whatever. And yeah, I think that's a big issue. And then the other fact of it is, M. Night Shyamalan has not made very many good movies. He's made some good movies, Sixth Sense, Signs, Unbreakable, Split, that kind of stuff. And I do like The Village. Not the whole movie, but I like a lot of The Village, anyways, up until that twist. But yeah, I mean, a lot of his movies are not very good. He's an interesting filmmaker because my favorite directors are Stanley Kubrick, things like that. And those kind of directors have movies and all these different types of movies, and all their movies remain the same level of quality for the most part. They're great movies, right? You can say they're great movies. M. Night Shyamalan's not like that. He has his good movies, his great movies, his okay movies, his bad movies, and then, good God, you made one of the worst movies ever made. And then he has his laughably bad movies. And unfortunately, this is a laughably bad movie. But let's talk about what this movie's about. If you don't know, this movie's about basically these people. They go onto this island and they start getting old rapidly. That's the plot. At least that's what you think is the plot from the trailers. I'm not going to say too much more than that because this movie goes a lot of weird directions and it's laughably stupid and the dialogue is terrible. This movie opened, and this is a mild spoiler, so if you don't want the mild spoiler, click off. It's not going to ruin your experience or anything if you listen to this part. But if you don't want to know anything, click off now. There's a part in this movie, it starts, and this mom tells her son, your voice is going to sound so much better when you're older. They keep making these references throughout the first part of the movie to the fact these people are going to age. And it's like, we get it. We're not retarded idiots who can't understand that, hey, we're going to see them get old. It's in the title. That's what the concept of the movie is. Yeah, like, I don't know what the hell they thought that people were going to, I don't know why they wrote it like that. It was just horrible. Like, the dialogue in this movie, M. Night Shyamalan is a director who writes a lot of his dialogue like very on the nose, and you kind of know what he's trying to say very obviously. But this is some of the worst I've seen from him. It is atrociously bad, just atrociously bad. Also, M. Night Shyamalan has one of his largest roles in any of his movies. In this movie, I would actually, Lady in the Water is a little bit bigger, but Lady in the Water, he still was not as prevalent in the movie as he is in this one. Just Lady in the Water is like, he is the reason the conflict in that movie got solved. That's the worst part about Lady in the Water. This movie, he is not the reason the conflict gets solved, but he is quite a bit in the movie, which is a little awkward because it just felt off. I don't know. But I would say a lot of the acting, people do try, but I think the issue is the script is so bad that no matter how good the acting is or performances are, they're still trapped within dialogue that's really bad. And the characters say things that no character would ever say. Like, there's a kid, and he's supposed to be 6, and he's going up to these people, and he's saying, hi, what's your name and occupations? Now, what 6-year-old do you know that talks like that? The issue with this movie is that a lot of these people are, the whole idea is all these people go to this island and they're trapped there, and there's all these other little subplots and little details that are there that just don't need to be there. This could have been a really scary movie with this concept. But the issue is, it's not the concept isn't the focus. Yes, they get old on the beach, but it takes so long to happen that they can't really do much of the horror and existential things going on with it. And I felt like the kids part of the movie, right, is the scariest part. To be like, because, when you're old, there was a grandpa in this movie who goes on to this beach. He's already old. He's gonna die soon. I'm not trying to be morbid, but it's less scary that he dies. It's sad, but less scary, right? That characters like that would, get old and things happen to them. It's scarier when children get older really quick, because when you're getting older as a child, it's seen as a loss of innocence and things like that. And I think they could have delved more into that concept, but they didn't really do that. And that's what the biggest issue of this movie is. And it was so laughably bad. The last thing I'm going to say before I talk spoilers, I will give you a warning when I'm about to talk spoilers, is that this movie is so laughably bad. And I'm not the only person that thought that. Because when the credits rolled and the name M. Night Shyamalan popped up, this guy yelled in my theater, "Of course. Of course!" He yelled it. The rest of the people were laughing. There was only one group of people who was taking this movie seriously while I was watching this in the theater. It is there was an old couple sitting behind me that they thought the movie was genuinely scary. But I think even by the end of the movie, they were just like, what the hell is this nonsense? Because the twist was that freaking terrible. Spoiler talk now. Click off now if you don't want spoilers for this movie that you shouldn't watch because it's not good. It's laughably bad, and only way I would recommend it is if you want a laughably bad movie, but I don't even think it's laughably bad the whole way through that it's worth it. So, alright, here's the twist. So, basically the plot twist of this movie is that they are setting these people up on the island to, they put these people on this island, right? And they put them on the island so that they can test them. Because all these people throughout the movie, you get various hints of this. They all have medical issues. And this hotel manager early in the film goes up to them and says, "We only invite special guests to this island." Special guest? Well, that's because they all have medical issues and all kinds of stuff. It's really weird. It's not clear how they knew that they had these medical issues. And so they could do the right amount of testing. That doesn't make any sense, right? It's not like when they bought a hotel room, they had to put down all their medical issues. And if they did, why wouldn't these people be creeped out that they have to put their specific medical issues and medical history down to buy a hotel room, to go to the beach? That's a little weird. But, so that's the twist. And they apparently do this to save money. And then the kids, who are the only two survivors off the island, return. And they basically, or I think it's just the brother, he survived. I don't remember exactly because I watched this yesterday and it's so bad and forgettable. But he, tells them, he stops guests from taking more of the stuff that they were giving them. And so now they're found out, which is interesting because I felt like the movie was kind of framing them as the good guys for when they first revealed this, because the idea was they were saying, hey, we conducted thousands of dollars of research and we saved tons of lives, which isn't that a good thing, right? I mean, I get they're killing people, but they're killing people to save people, so it didn't really do much with that moral question. That was pretty weird, but and that's M. Night Shyamalan was the guy who keeps dropping these people off on this island. It's really weird. Or not island, beach. It's just really weird. It was a terrible film. The best twist movies, they have a twist. And they're shocking, yes, but the point of the twist is that, it furthers the experience of the film, right? Me, when I watch The Sixth Sense, right? Sixth Sense, it's, I guess spoilers for The Sixth Sense if you've never seen that movie. Go watch it. 20, 30-year-old movie now, I think. I don't even know how old that movie is, but, in that movie, it's revealed that, well, the one guy that you see this kid talking to who can see ghosts is a ghost. And that makes sense, right? In the movie, there's a scene where he's sitting next to the mom. And he doesn't say a word that whole scene. It makes sense. Why? Because he's a ghost. She can't see him, and so how would he talk to her? In the restaurant. He sits in the restaurant. And that chair never gets pulled out. He just sits in the chair. Never pulled out that chair. He's just in the chair. It all makes sense in that movie. This twist does not make sense with the context of the movie. Yes, it was set up in the movie, but even with the setup, it doesn't make sense. It's a terrible twist for a shitty movie with the great concept that could have been really terrifying. And the other problem I had with this movie was it should have been rated R. It felt like a film that was rated R at various points, but they cut away from so much. And it's ridiculous, too, because I know that, a lot of movies in Hollywood are not rated R when they should be because they want teenagers to see it. But I don't know any teenager that wants to see a movie about people growing old, right? It's not something that's scary to them because they don't really, it's something that's scarier to older people. And that's the group of people that would want to see this movie. It's a terrifying fear. It's an interesting concept. But this is just like, why did you make this movie? There was a scene where someone stripped and they were nude, but the way they had to cut around it was so awkward. There was implied sex that was cut around from that was pretty weird in this movie. It was just a lot of stuff that was really weird in this movie. And I felt like they should have, instead of cutting around that in the most awkward ways possible, they should have just either not had it at all or made it rated R. It would have made sense. The audience for this movie is not children, so I don't know why they wanted children and teenagers to be able to see this movie. It was a very bad movie. 2 out of 10. God, this movie sucks.